Alright, so let's go ahead and go over what we already got installed. So we have the Corsair radiator installed along with the 5350 under that. And you can see we got that nicely modified for the bracket that came with it to fit the 2-pin configuration. And then you can see we already got that plugged in. But we still do need to plug in the SATA connector. And then here's for what we need to install. So we got this really nice 90 watt PSU, which these things are actually really cool. I'd never seen one of them. This is a 20 pin, but you can get 24. And then you have your 4-pin CPU connector. This is where you actually connect the power to, which you use one of, let me grab it, you use one of these, plugs in just like that, goes straight into the wall. It's almost like a laptop cord. And then we have 2 SATA connectors, which I actually happen to have a little extender, which you can see I got on there, so I'm using that so then I can hook up this and the hard drive. Just put that over here. We have the 240 gig Kingston drive, which will make everything run really smooth, I'm pretty sure, so hopefully that'll work out great. The motherboard came with 2 SATA connectors, so we'll be using the ones that it came with. And we have the 4 gigs of Team Vulkan RAM, which is 1600 speed, which should work out great with the APU. So let's go ahead and get in installing that. Oh wait, and one more thing. I pulled out of my old case a power connector, or one of my old cases, so we got a little LED and the power on and off switch. Alright, so I'm going to go in order of what I think is easiest to hardest. So let's go ahead and put in the RAM first. Alright, so we got that connected. Let's go ahead and open up the SSD. Alright, so now we got the SSD out. These things are just amazing. I mean, just look how small it is. It's super sturdy feeling. I think it's actually, yeah, it feels like an actual aluminum body too, so that's really nice. But we're gonna hook that up in just a second, and then we're gonna actually because I'm gonna put this whole thing into the tank at once with hopefully everything hooked up to it. Alright, so let's go ahead and hook in the power supply, which this is a 20-pin configuration, so we have 4 pins left over, but the processor only uses 25 watts, I believe it is, so we shouldn't have to worry about the extra 4-pin, which we already do have an extra 4-pin CPU power anyway, so that should be fine. Let's go ahead and hook up the 4-pin for the CPU. Alright, we'll see if we can do some decent cable management for all this. You can see we got that in here. Now let's open up the SATA box. Oh, this thing just jumped out at me. Alright. They actually provide pretty long cables, which is pretty nice. But I might change which 90-degree angle goes on what part. Although this seems to fit pretty nice right now in, so we'll see. You can see we got that in. So everything's actually hooked up now. It's pretty quick. And now real quick, we'll check the manual and make sure we got the right spots for the LED and the power button. Alright, so you can see we got those plugged in. It was actually fairly simple. I like manuals that actually have everything well labeled, which this one does. And they both just went on the end pins right there, so that was pretty easy. Alright, so now let's go ahead and plug everything up and let's see if this thing powers on. Alright, and now for the moment of truth, let's see if this thing powers on. Alright, so you can see the pump just turned on. You should be able to hear the fan, but I'll let you guys see it. See it to believe it. There you go. Corsair logo is now on. So, it sounds like everything's working pretty good, so let's get a monitor hooked up to it and see what's going on. Alright, so as you can see, we have power, everything's working great. Alright, let's give you guys a quick tour of the finished product. So real quick, let's go over the system scores. So you can see the processor got a pretty nice 6.3. RAM also for 4 gigs, got a 5.9. Graphics did pretty decent at 4.4, and then gaming graphics did good at 6.1. And then primary hard disk actually maxed out at 7.9. And you can see the whole system is running at a very cool temperatures right now, at idle especially. So now for the gaming test, which we knew that a lot of people would want to see, we actually went with Minecraft because it is both CPU and GPU pretty demanding for those, so we figured that'd be a good game. You can see it actually runs pretty smooth. You know, there's slight frame drop every so often, but other than that though, it's pretty smooth. So I'm definitely impressed. You know, with having a lower APU like this and only 4 gigs of RAM. And the RAM's actually only running at 1333, or yeah, 1333 megahertz right now instead of the normal 1600. So that can definitely be bumped up, along with this processor can definitely be overclocked a little bit, which would also help with performance a lot. So we hope you guys enjoyed this whole build. We decided to only make it into 2 parts instead, just because we didn't really need to have 3 parts. So like I said, we hope you guys enjoyed, and you know, feel free to ask for any other tests that you guys might want to see, or you know, any other gaming type things, or just whatever you guys want to see. Thanks, and see you guys later.